Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Melffy deck profile. So I'm really excited for you guys because this deck is an absolutely adorable deck that just got some amazing support out of Power of the Elements. This deck is super fun to be able to play and actually a really budget deck to be able to pick up because everything in the core of the deck is actually a super or a common, which is absolutely insane. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like in your name description for every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Melffy Puppy. Puppy is a great 3-of in the deck that has an absolutely insane effect. Now, all of your main deck monsters actually share the ability that if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, except during the damage step, or if an opponent's monster targets this card for an attack, you can return this to your hand and then you get a unique effect. Every one of your main deck Melffy monsters actually share that ability except for the new tuner monster. Now, this card's unique effect is when you return this card to your hand, you can then special summon out a level 2 or lower beast monster from your deck, except another copy of this card, which is a really good effect, especially when you summon your copy of Calantosis, because then you get to pop a card on the field, which is a really awesome effect to be able to just pop a card if your opponent summons a monster. Now, all of your Melffy monsters besides the tuner also share the ability that you can special summon this card from your hand during the end phase, which is a really good effect just to swarm the board with all sorts of monsters. I then play 3 copies of Caddy. Caddy is also a great 3-of with a really unique effect that when this card is targeted for an attack or your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can return this card to your hand and then you get to add a beast monster from your deck to your hand, which is a really awesome effect to be able to search any beast monster that you might need, even super powerful ones like your copies of Alpha, the Master of Beasts, which is a really good card to be able to search off your copy of Caddy. We then play 3 copies of the new Wally. Wally is insane and adorable. This is actually one of my favorite ones in the entire deck. This card is really insane in this build because this card has a super unique effect that when this card is returned to your hand, you can then special summon out 2 more Melffy monsters from your deck with different names from each other, except another copy of this card, which is a really good effect just to be able to swarm the board with additional monsters. I then play a single copy of Finny. I feel like 1 Finny is totally fine in the deck because when this card is returned to your hand, you can special summon a beast monster from your hand, which is a pretty good effect just to replace itself on the field. And then a single copy of Pony as well. Pony is a good 1-of as well in the deck because this card lets you add a level 2 or lower beast monster from your graveyard to your hand when this card is returned to your hand, letting you recycle some of your cards. We then play 2 copies of the new tuner, Penny. Penny is a really neat card. This card is a really good tuner that helps you go in for all sorts of different really powerful synchro monsters, and it has a really unique ability that if a face-up beast monster you control was returned to your hand this turn, except another copy of Penny, you can quick effect special summon this card from your hand. Then you can immediately, after this card resolves, synchro summon 1 synchro monster using only this card you control and a Melffy monster in your hand. And then during your end phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target a Beast XZ monster you control and attach this card as a material. And you only effect this card once per turn. But this card is also a really good normal summon to be able to normal summon this card to your side of the field, because all of your other Melffy monsters actually special summon themselves by their own effects during the end phase. So this card makes for a really good normal summon, especially with some of the text that I'm playing in the deck, to step into some level 8 synchro monsters along with our new Mary Melffy, which is our level 4, which you can easily make this card with any of our level 2s plus our copy of Penny, which is really nice. So for the other monsters we're playing in the deck, we're playing 2 copies of the mystical beast of the forest, Velfon. Velfon is a good 2-of in the deck. I still really like this card in the deck because it helps us go for an Atria beast because it has the ability to discard a card, target a level 2 or lower beast monster in your graveyard, except another copy of this card, and special summon it in attack position or face down defense position. And you can only use effect this card once per turn. But this card is also an earth tuner, so comboed with your copy of Mind Mole, you can actually make an Atria beast off a copy of Rescue cat, which is really cool. I then play 2 copies of Calantosis. Calantosis is in here because you can special summon it off your copy of Puppy, and when it's special summoned by the effect of a beast monster, you can target a card on the field and destroy it. That doesn't just have to be a monster, that can be any card on the field, which is really cool to be able to also pop spells and traps. We then play a single copy of Mind Mole. The only reason I play this card in the deck is for the copy of Velthon, to be able to synchro summon it into a copy of Naturia Beast to be able to lock my opponent's spell cards down, which is a really awesome effect. And this card is just a really good card as well, because if you use this card as a synchro material and it's sent to the graveyard, you get to draw a card as well. I then play 3 copies of Rescue Cat. Rescue Cat is really insane in this deck, because this card helps out so much to be able to step into some really powerful cards, because you send this card from your field to the graveyard to special summon out 2 level 3 beast monsters, 2 level 3 or lower beast monsters from your deck, but their effects are negated and you destroy them during the end phase. Now this card is a really good 2 on the deck to be able to let you summon out your monsters to your side of the field and help you go in for some Exit plays or even some synchro plays in this particular deck. I then play a single copy of White Steed of the Floral Knights. Now this card is a searchable card off your copy of Caddy, which is why I only play a single copy of this card. You can play 2 copies of this card if there's any of the staples that you deem are a little bit too expensive, which is really an awesome thing, because this card is a really budget option. But this card is really good because if you control a level 2 or lower monster, you can just special summon this card from your hand in defense position, and combo with your copy of Penny, you can actually make a level 8 synchro, which is really cool about your copy of White Steed. I then play a single copy of Alpha. Alpha is a really good tech card in the deck that you can actually search off your copy of your Caddy, which is a really awesome thing for this deck, because usually you're going to summon monsters with really low attack points until you're going to go in for game. So this card can help you out a lot to be able to dump all your Melffy monsters onto your side of the field, special summon out this card to your field, bounce them back to hand, and then bounce your opponent's monsters back to their hand as well, which is really cool. And as long as you have attack points on your field that equal less than the total of your opponent's attack points, you can keep special summoning this card to your side of the field, which is a really awesome effect. But the only downside of this card is it can't attack directly for the rest of the turn. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the hand traps that we're playing in the deck. So for the hand traps, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is a really good 3 on the deck just to stop your opponent from touching the deck. This card can be replaced with cards like Effect Veiler if you're looking for a more budget option for this particular build. But this card is a great hand trap overall. We're then playing 3 copies of Gamma. Gamma is a really good card to stop your opponent's hand traps, along with a copy of Driver. Driver is a fantastic card to be able to play with your copy of Gamma, so you can just stop your opponent's hand traps. Again, you can change this out for DD Crow, you can change these cards out for Effect Veilers, Ghost Ogres, totally up to you which ones you want to play in the deck, but I really like these in the deck because they stop the opponent from using monster effects and searching the deck. So that's it for the hand traps. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave is a great 1-of in the deck that basically just stops the opponent from hand trapping us, along with our copies of Gamma. I then play a single copy of Monster Reborn just to extend our plays in the deck. I did actually consider dropping this card for some more hand traps in the build, but I really like this card to extend our plays. I then play a single copy of Tag. Tag is a really good card in the deck because it is searchable, and it's a really fantastic Monster Reborn spell that you can target a Melffy monster in the graveyard and special summon it. We then play 2 copies of my new favorite artwork in the entire game, and it's going to be 2 copies of Staring Contest. I love this card. I think it's adorable. It's one of my favorite artworks that Konami has ever made on a card, because it just took me aback when I first saw it, but it's super cute. But this card has the ability to reveal a beast monster in your hand, to add a Melffy monster with a different name from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and then place that revealed monster on the bottom of the deck. And you can only use the effect of this card once per turn. But this is a really good effect because with this card, if you have multiple Melffys in your hand, you can put them on the bottom of the deck, so you only have 1 of each, which is really good. It also has the ability that at the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can reveal any number of Melffy monsters in your hand and keep them revealed during the battle phase only, and monsters your opponent control lose attack equal to the combined attack and defense of those monsters revealed by this effect, essentially staring down your opponent with your cute fuzzy animals, which is really cute. We then play 3 copies of Obedience School. Obedience School is really good in the deck because if you control no monsters, you can special summon up to 3 level 2 or lower beast effect monsters with different names from your deck, but their effects are negated and also destroy them during the end phase. And for the rest turn, after this card resolves, you can't special summon monsters except for beast monsters, which is totally fine in this particular build because we can go for cards like our Merry Melffys and even into cards like our Ronin Raccoon, which is a really powerful card in the deck. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, which is just 3 additional basically hand traps in the deck, but they're also traps, so I ended up putting them in the trap section. But this is a really good card overall as a trap card to be able to stop your opponent's effects. You can again change this out for effect veilers if you want to, because effect veilers do also kind of do the same thing if you're looking for a more budget option. But this card is really good in the deck to be able to lock down columns for spells and traps, and also target face-up monsters that your opponent controls and negate their effects. If you don't have a card in your hand, you can directly activate this card from your hand like a hand trap. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of Merry Melffys. You only really need a single copy of this card because it can actually bounce itself, which is really cool. But it just requires a tuner plus a non-tuner monster, and it's a level 4 monster, so you can basically use your copy of Penny plus any other level 2 monster in the deck to make this card. And if this card is special summon, you can target a face-up monster on the field and return it to the hand. And if your opponent normally special summons a monster, except during the damage step, or if an opponent's monster targets this card for an attack, then you can return this card to the extra deck, and if you do, you get to special summon a Melffy XZ monster from your extra deck. Being able to bounce that card and be able to just summon any of your Melffy extra deck monsters is really, really cool. So this card is a definite one of in the deck. And then play a single copy of Herald of Arclight. This card is just a really good negate overall in the deck and super easy to make with Penny. 1 copy of Naturia Beast. This card is also really easy to make with your copy of Mind Mole and Velfon. Being able to lock down spell cards is just insane. We then play a single copy of Omega. Omega is really good to rip a card out of the opponent's hand. I play a single copy of Dragite because it's really easy to step into your copy of Dragite with Penny plus your Floral Knight, and it gives you a water monster already in the graveyard to stop spells and traps. I then play a single copy of Draco Berserker. This card is basically the sword where your copy of your Dragite is the shield, but this card is really good because it can attack multiple times, and also when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can banish that card. So this card again also gains attack points if it destroys a monster by battle, which is really cool. I then play a single copy of Baron de Fleur. You don't have to play Baron de Fleur. It's a really good card. I don't make it all that often, but it is a really good option for you guys. You can change it out for another level 8 or even a copy of Desert Locust, which is an option for you guys instead of the copy of Baron de Fleur. I then play 2 copies of Melffy of the Forest. Forest is a really good 2-of in the deck. Lets you detach a material of this card to add a Melffy card from your deck to your hand, which is an absolutely insane effect. 2 copies of Joyous Melffy. Joyous is a really good 2 as well because you can detach a material from this card and your Melffy monsters can attack directly this turn, which is a pretty awesome effect to be able to just attack directly. Play a single copy of Ronin Raccoon because it can generate a token, and the token will have combined or will have attack points equal to the highest attack monster on the field, which is pretty good to just make a token that can take out the highest attack point monster on the field. 1 copy of Sky Cavalry because Sky Cavalry is just an absolutely insane XZ2 to be able to go in for your copy of Zeus. 1 copy of Downer Magician because you can make Zeus super easy in the deck, and then finally a single copy of AA Zeus as a board wipe for the deck. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's an absolutely adorable deck. I hope you guys enjoy those budget options as well, because this deck is actually pretty easy to pick up if you're only picking up the archetype cards. You can change out the hand traps that are a little bit more expensive for copies of Ghost Ogre, Effect Veiler, and other really budget options for you guys, even including some trap cards like Storming Mirror Force is an option because I played that in the deck before. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can come part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.